Good morning. It has been a week since our flood. Oh, here is our front yard. All of that curly, crusty mud has almost dried up completely. And there's not anything we can do about the front yard, but we're going to walk out here to where the culverts are. I'm sure you can hear me crunching through the mud crusts. We still need to level out our driveway. That will come later. Other things are more important. I don't think I've shown you this tree. I'm so heartbroken over this tree. It is a purple robe locust, and it split like that about a month ago. We're trying to save it. The arborist said the whole tree has to come down, and it is big and it's gorgeous, and it has fabulous purple blooms in the springtime. All right, here we are at our culvert. This is where most of the water came from, in the front, and then down between the garage and the house. And if you look at that, and that was that way when we moved in, and we didn't do anything about it. That's a 12-inch culvert. And then the other side is open enough, but it does not have the capacity to hold the amount of water that came down. And then across our front yard, down a little ways, is our second culvert. And it is also dinged and bent inward. So early next week, we have someone coming who is going to replace these culverts with 18-inch culverts instead of these 12-inch culverts. And then we're going to dig our ditch quite a bit deeper along here. Some of the water came across from our neighbor's place, and he and Jim are talking about things that we can both do to mitigate that. We keep the garage partway open when we're home, when it's hot, because it gets hot in there, and that allows cool breezes in. But you notice along where the garage door comes down, we have these 6-foot sandbags. That's what Jim and our friend who helps us with the yard did this past week. They filled these sandbags, and the water was not deeper than that up here next to the garage door, so we think that will help that. Oh, here are the sunflowers. They've all popped out after that lovely rain and flood. Here is a sandbag ready to pull across the garage door. Here's another one ready to lift up on the step and put right at the doorway. And then Jim has put one there so that water, and he closes them off. He puts the second one across the walkway so that the water cannot come flooding through here. All right, let's check the greenhouse where the fan is roaring. So they have put sandbags here. I'm going to have to move them because that doesn't do anything. What they may not have realized is that the water comes in from the back. And here is where we need the sandbags. So we'll be moving those sandbags. In fact, you can see how high the water was up against the door. And it is, looking through the screen, still a muddy mess in there. We have not tackled the greenhouse yet. But sandbags will go across here that will prevent the water from coming in next time. I mentioned in the flood video that we have taken out all of our grass and turned off our sprinklers because, number one, water is so expensive, and because we are in severe drought and we just don't have the water to water grass as big as this is. But look at our lovely crop of weeds. So we're just going to mow the weeds and pretend that it's grass. All right, probably the best thing that happened is out here. We had You may remember that gully. So our neighbor who came down on the day of the flood and put a little barrier across our driveway and helped so much, waited for about 3 days for it to dry up a little bit, and then he came over, and Jim said that he is the best tractor handler of anybody he's ever seen. He could practically make his tractor sing and dance. So this is where that little gully had started. So he filled that, but the big thing that he did was that major flooding in the back came straight down from neighbor to neighbor to neighbor to our place. And we watched where it crossed into our property, and then this is what our neighbor, whose name is Brian, did. He built us a lovely ditch with a high bank so that the water can be directed to go straight out our back gate and onto BLM property. And it saves our property, and it also saves our neighbor's property. So we have done quite a few things in a week to make sure that this does not happen to us again. And we will keep thinking and working and protecting our property from flooding. We don't do much with the back 2 acres right now, but we have plans. And so we want to protect our property, keep some of the natural growth, and protect it from future floods. So that's kind of been our project this past week. We hope that some of the things that we have done might be beneficial to some of you as well. So thanks for being with us on this Micro Moment Monday, and we'll see you next time.